Hi, comic readers, and welcome to another live episode of Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
Of course, you're listening to the show live here on youtube.com/ComicPop Returns. But if you're not, you're listening to the audio version, then you're probably listening to us on Apple Podcasts. I'm so conditioned to say iTunes. Don't change an institution's name like that.
Yeah, but if you're listening to it most of the time for podcasts, then it's Apple Podcasts.
That's true.
Or Spotify.
Or Spotify. But either way, if you are listening to us on those, give us a rating. Help us out. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a like. It helps us out too. And comment below. Say something funny. I look forward to seeing it. I see all the comments, so, let me know. Anyway, this is a show where we take comic books from the past week, and we recap and review them, tell you what we thought about them, and then recommend comics that are coming out this week that we think you should check out. A couple of things of note of late. We did Across the Spider-Verse last week. Back into the comics. I'm very excited. Nothing but comics this week. We are just talking about comic books that came out.
Okay.
Oh, you got something?
No, I was just agreeing.
You're like, okay. I mean, then I'll hold back on some big news that I want to share on our news, reviews, and recommendations show.
No,
nothing?
No.
It's a long way for you to preamble to the big news you have.
I don't have any news.
Oh, all right. What? Sometimes you got to just trick your friends and family into revealing secret news they might have by telling people that you know that they have news. I'm kidding, of course. I'm just doing a prolonged bit.
Okay, good. I was like, no. I was like, was I supposed to come up with a topic?
No.
That was giving me oh my god.
You have so much work to do already. I'm not going to make you come up with topics.
That was like being in a class when everyone else did the homework, and you're like, there was
homework. Oh no. Yeah, no. The homework thing sucks. The real thing is about the quizzes.
Sure.
But
I feel like everyone's on equal footing then.
That's true.
Not everyone knew about the quiz.
Yeah, no, but somebody held out on me with that homework.
Everybody knew about the homework, and I didn't.
Yeah, so what the hell, friend who was in class and could have told me, but didn't for some reason.
Yeah, so that was what you were seeing there. Was like, was I supposed to?
Was I supposed to come up with something?
I didn't do anything.
No,
but I didn't do a damn thing.
Damn right. Good for you.
When you opened up a tab, though,
yeah,
there was a whale there.
Yeah.
This is nothing to do with any kind of news.
No.
But I did see a horrific video which solidified my fears.
Yes, of the ocean.
Naturally. I love the ocean, but I believe that the ocean should be respected.
I respect the 100%. Hell out of the ocean. But I also like swimming in the ocean a lot. And you are afraid of swimming in the ocean.
I am and I'm not. I don't want things touching me. Okay. And I think I have a good reason to, because there's a lot of things in the ocean.
Well, what? Like what? Like whales?
Yeah.
What'd you see?
I saw two kayakers be swallowed by a humpback whale for a hot second. I was like, okay. Now, humpback whales are not at all scary.
No, in fact, they're endangered.
They're huge. They're like Leviathan level sort of beings.
Yeah.
I think
they'll save us one day in the far distant future.
Sure. I love their songs, the whole thing. They're great. There's nothing wrong with them. However, that's scary AF. It's very not okay.
Yeah. I thought you were going to tell us about the orcas, but apparently not only people know about it already, but
yeah, the orcas are a thing. The whales
they've been a thing.
And that's fine.
Yesterday's
Since 2020, they've been attacking boats. Good on them. Go for it.
Yeah.
But the kayak thing, I was like, and I love.
For the record, I heard that story. They survived.
They did. I know they did.
It spat them right out.
But I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
I don't want to be eaten.
I don't want to be a small percentage of the world's population, the smallest infinitesimal percentage of the population
of humans
that's
that have been consumed.
I was consumed by a whale.
Yeah. I mean, the reality is being eaten by anything. We worked hard as a species to get on top of the food chain. Some people live their whole lives not being eaten by anything.
It was just, and what I loved about that video too was also, it wasn't like I saw that I was like, I'm never going in the ocean again. I was just like, see, it does happen.
Yeah.
And then followed up by humor by the fact that the other people were like backpedaling. They're just like, well, I can't help.
Nope.
I should go.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah. No.
Yeah. Cool.
Like I freaking loved that.
Yeah. That's fair. Well, I watched a video similarly, but this one was of a shark eating a man, and I did see that.
Yeah,
that was less entertaining.
That's not entertaining. That's not like proving a point that I'm like, no, whales could accidentally eat you.
Right? No, it's a shark that found a man and ate him.
Yeah, that is a very different scenario. That is like, hey, I entered the food chain.
Right? Yeah, but you never know. You see, I appreciate if you're like, hey, there are tigers here. I'd be like, all right, you know what? I'm not gonna go see them. One time we went into a field very recently that was full of cows, and there was a sign that said, don't touch them.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know what? I'm going to risk it. Not that I'm going to risk touching them, but I'm going to go in the cow field. That was on me. If the cows ate me, that'd be on me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect vengeance. But you should know that if a cow could or would, he would eat you and everyone he cared about. So that's why we are not vegetarians
I feel like
here.
With the shark, but you know what though, if you lived in an area where there were more we happen to live in an area where there's very few dangerous animals.
That's very true. Yeah,
we have bears, but
we have bears, but they're more afraid of us than we are.
Yeah, and there's coyotes, and okay, that
right?
one
could they're organized.
That could become a problem.
Yeah, a woman in my neighborhood was attacked by a pack of coyotes one time. She used to take these walks. It was years. We were talking decades ago.
Those coyotes.
Well, she also was, for whatever reason, she was insane. She would wear high heels when she went off for her walks. So it's like
I don't. Okay.
It was like she wanted to be eaten by a coyote.
No, I listen. You can't judge a person for what they're wearing, and
you can't judge where she's walking.
You can't judge their mental state like that.
Well,
you should.
She was almost eaten by coyotes. Okay. Anyway, let's jump into some comic books that are coming. Oh, but before we do, there's a little bit of a topic. It's not much of a topic. It's more like, hey, I'm going to let you know about this thing.
That was the thing I was going to talk about.
Oh, well, then please. You had a secret topic the whole time.
I just was like,
so I'm vindicated.
I was like, is that what he's talking about?
I guess I am.
No.
Yes, please. Take it away.
I don't know that much
secret
about it.
topic person.
I don't really know about it. I just saw it. So I was like, oh, is that what he's talking about? That's what I'm supposed to bring up, even though how does he know that I even saw it? But I hadn't really.
I don't know that you saw it.
So that's why I'd rather talk about the whale. Because okay, the whale.
We've done the whale topic to death.
Okay, so
the whale topic is now extinct.
You bring the real news.
Well, apparently there was a hashtag that was circulating social media called #ComicBrokeMe or Comics Broke Me.
Yeah.
Which was essentially putting the industry on blast from creators identifying poor working conditions and poor creative situations, and highlighting these negative parts of the industry so as to change them and bring greater awareness to them.
Yeah.
And that's it. Just that was circulating, and it was just an opportunity for creators, both big and small, to kind of equally work together to kind of erase a stigma and hopefully raise awareness enough to put pressure on these larger groups to better their conditions.
Right. I would go even further than that to say, if you get a chance, go click on the hashtag and read. You're going to see a lot of stuff out there. You're going to see hopefully you're going to mostly see creators who are talking about their experiences, and it kind of really puts some things into perspective.
It's true.
Honestly, there were some things that I was reading where, as I was going through it, I was just like, you see this stuff everywhere because, as we all know, talking about what you make is stigmatized.
Yeah.
Right, and if you're uncomfortable talking about it, that's one thing.
You're talking about the money you make.
The money you make. But it's stigmatized. And now, listen, if you're uncomfortable talking about what you make, that's one thing.
Yes, but don't let management tell you.
Don't let management or society go you shouldn't do that if you want to.
No, in fact, knowing your colleagues or your coworkers' wages allows for you to have a united front to get the fair wages. How many stories have you heard? I've heard it 1,000 times, not talking about it's impolite, it's not appropriate to talk about how much you make. And then you find out that a colleague that's been there less time, half the time that you've been there, is making twice as much. And you go, well, what the hell's that all about? Right. And then you talk to management and they're like, well, how did you even know about that? As opposed to being you know what? Yeah, we have been screwing you. Certainly that happened to me. It's happened to me in every industry that I've ever been in, where I was not paid fairly for my work, and that my colleagues were paid better than I was at the time. Starting all the way back to when I used to work as a lifeguard at the YMCA. I brought in a friend of mine who was notoriously anti-work. He was the laziest person I've ever met. And he made $1.50 more than me to do less work.
Well,
and I was so angry.
Right. Well,
and I brought it to them, and they said something like, stop talking about your wages in front of people.
Yeah.
That was essentially their approach.
Yeah. So
it's a different time, but it's not it, but how different is it?
Well, yeah, but what I'm
but your point is.
But my point is that it'll give you a really good perspective on why sometimes you might feel like creatives are
bitter or burned out or resentful
or will be I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to move on to a different industry.
Right.
And it's I don't understand why, right?
Yeah.
Or why they might feel slighted when some people have
greater opportunities or
so there's a lot to be learned. There's a lot of perspective to potentially take in. Now take this as you read it because it's people's personal experiences, but I think it's a worthwhile journey to go on. Definitely there was even moments for me where I was just man, I have been working in an industry in which the top 10 salaries where I work have to be published someplace.
Yeah.
And it doesn't actually allow us to rally at all. It just makes us feel bad.
Exactly.
But hey, you know what? We can feel bad together, I guess. But it does give you a perspective that these are artists, and at times they are struggling artists, and they're, you know, they want to create for you, and they want to make things for you, and they want to, you know, their voices out there or their art out there, and you know, it's hard to do that and also eat.
Yeah,
because that's the other thing. You see these posts about, and this could be in any industry, but you'll see these posts where they're just like, oh, I went elsewhere to some other place where people are valued even less, and therefore I can, you know, get away with whatever I want so that I can give you my big product.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, people need to eat, man. And
right.
Like, just because you want to make your thing doesn't mean that person can't eat.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you got to think about it like that. Anyway.
Absolutely. That's it. Just so yeah, if you want to make things right, or you want to help things out in any way, you know, obviously pre-ordering your books allows for the publishers, these monsters, to keep these books and these creatives afloat. That's one way to do it. Another way is to just directly contribute to things like the Hero Initiative, which is a link I found and put into the comments down below or in the live chat as well. But yeah, it's a good organization. Not that I vetted them too deeply, but I've worked with them before, and they're, you know, they seem altruistic and that they are on the level. So I don't think you would be in the wrong for helping them out there. Of course, you can also help your creators more directly. Sometimes they're in dire straits, and you can you know, seek them out and look for their assistance as well. Peter David, for example, a notorious comic book writer, creative influence. He's fallen on hard health times, and he's consistently in need of support. Certainly his wife is doing all the heavy lifting in terms of providing aid for him. So if you can help him out, just Google Peter David and you know, health fund, and you'll find the link that you need.
Yes.
But yeah, just the other day I saw another one that just broke my heart to see, like, so many different creative people who are you know, now in their twilight years, or even older, just older years, not even twilight, you know, because that sliding scale is sliding ever more. But you know, and without basic aid. And you know, this industry is about superheroes. Be one yourself and help support your favorite creators if they are ever in trouble, and you are in a position to help them, of course. So let's jump into some comics. There's a bunch of them that came out this week. I went ahead and, you know, had a distaste for Amazing Spider-Man, so I went ahead and read Spider-Man #9 from Dan Slott and Mark Bagley. This book, you know, it's funny. This is very much doing exactly what this book was designed to do. It is completely different from Amazing Spider-Man, but maybe it's because it's written by Dan Slott, or maybe because it's folded into continuity, but it feels like it is supposed to be, or trying to be, important. It certainly harkens back to a simpler time.
Okay.
You know, it really has that tone, like like what classic. When I say classic, I mean like 90s Amazing Spider-Man feels like. When I say 90s, I mean like 1991 to 1992. You know, like a really, really narrow time when Spider-Man was just kind of doing some stuff, and people were there, and adventures were happening. Like, you could get away with putting Electro on the cover of your comic book.
Right.
God knows they did that in one of those older books. They did like a 3-part Electro series, and I was like, how can you get away with that?
I just wanted to bring up that, like, in Comixology this week, I was looking for books, and I noticed that it was just a mistake.
Yep.
But that they put that was by this.
They said it's by Zeb Wells. No.
I was like, really? And
Oops.
I clicked on it, and I was like, and I had to go further in. I was like, oh no, okay, it is Dan Slott.
Dan Slott.
But like, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
That hurt the book by putting that in there. Not that Zeb Wells isn't a nice guy or untalented, but certainly Amazing Spider-Man, I think it's fair to say, sucks. But this book, you know, I don't read this book regularly. I wouldn't read it unless I had a show where I talked about comic books.
Okay.
But Bagley's art is good. Bailey, the Spider Boy, is of course featured prominently because Dan Slott's like, I'm hitting the homers, baby. First, Silk, Spider-Gwen, Bailey, the Inheritors. You're welcome, everybody. Here we go. And yeah, the only thing that I really appreciated about it is that J. Jonah Jameson is really mad at Peter because he's like, why are you palling around with Norman Osborn? What the hell are you doing? There's a great moment where they're all having dinner at Aunt May's, and Dan Slott sneaks in a Spider-Man 2002 reference. And the Robertsons are there, and Norman Osborn was invited by Peter, and the Robertsons like, we were friends with the Stacys. We'll never forgive you. And I'm like, that's fair.
Okay.
That's so fair that you've almost ruined Peter as a character by having him forgive Norman Osborn. So yeah, this book is fine. You know, Electro is really barely in it, but he does appear, and he does threaten to do something at the end of the issue. So if you're
Okay.
looking for more awesome Electro antics, they ain't in this issue, but it is a dynamite cover.
Excellent.
Right? What about you, Tiffany?
I didn't get a chance to actually read this as much as I kind of
Went through it
because I didn't realize it was 110 pages when I wrote it.
Good
Or
Lord.
wrote it when I bought it. But I wanted to give a shout out to the New Talent Showcase #1, the Milestone Initiative.
That came out this week. I'm sorry.
And I think it was only $4 for 110 pages.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm
So
gonna have to go to the store.
kind of
and
why I
buy
wanted
it.
to bring that up, because we see a lot of the times that DC will do these like short story showcase kind of things and make it like $10.
Yes.
Because it's like 80 pages, right?
Right,
It's like,
of
wow, I'm
course.
getting a lot of pages. But I believe they're working with Ally, which is either a bank or a financial. I don't know what they are.
Huh.
I've seen this logo before. I actually don't know what they are. Let's be honest.
Oh,
But I've seen
yeah.
this logo before, but
Mhm.
I have a feeling that allows this price to be a little lower.
Yes.
But I did get a chance to do was flip through the art. There's a lot of fun art. All these are all new like artists. These are people who are just, you know, they submitted to be a part of this. They were
Yes.
selected. They went through like a 10-week training program,
Mhm.
and this is like the kind of the final result of it.
Nice.
And the reason I know that is because
Yes.
I had a chance to read the intro by Reginald Hudlin,
Mhm.
which was really great because he talks about, you know, where Milestone came from, and that, like, you know, when Milestone first came out, it wasn't just about getting the top Black writers and artists, it was also getting like the next generation of writers and artists there.
Yes.
And brings up a whole bunch of folks who came out of that.
Yeah.
Like for example, Humberto Ramos, and
Right.
you know what I mean, and Jamal Ingle, and like all these people. And I was like, okay, cool. And so like I love the idea of like we're bringing Milestone back, and this is a big part of it.
Yes.
Is this idea of like looking to the future as
I
well.
love that. Yeah.
And for $4, I feel like it's really super like affordable.
Mhm.
It's a great, you're getting 110 pages of just writers and artists you may not know, and maybe characters you don't know super well, but give it a shot. You know,
think
like
so.
I think it's 100% worth it. I think they've been like everything right here.
Yeah.
Except for letting people know about it.
Right.
But so
Classic DC.
hopefully, you know, you will go take a chance on this at the end of the book. I noticed, because again, like I was like, oh, okay, for the price. I thought it was going to be like every artist had like 1 or 2 pages. And then
Sure.
it turns out they have much more than that.
That's great.
And so I was like, oh my gosh, all right, I can't read all of this right now.
Mhm.
But at the end of it, you'll also find little bios about
Yeah.
each of the creators who are in here.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So if you like their work, you can go and maybe follow them on social media.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot of good going on here. Like again, I did a cursory flip through. There's a lot of fun art there. People I feel like you're going to be seeing in the future in some of the like bigger titles from Marvel and DC. So I think it's worthwhile to go check it out.
Yes. I also believe that one of these people may have been at our live show.
Yes.
And that's wonderful for them.
Yes.
And yeah.
But I honestly like.
But overall, no, this is just a
Yeah.
great initiative. It's not to, you know.
No, I know. But like I remember like when they said it, they were like, make sure to look for that. And I was like, okay. And so when it came out, I was like, I forgot to mention that it was coming out last week because I didn't know. I honestly didn't realize it until it came out. So
Yes.
if you get a chance, if your local comic book store still has it, or if you just want to get it online, like I said, it's $4, 110 pages. I think it'd be worth it.
Totally. Here's the cover again.
Right? Super cool.
Yeah, it's great. Well, I read Adventures of Superman John Kent #4. This book, of course, written by Tom Taylor with art this time by Derek Robertson. Derek Robertson is a divisive artist, to be sure. Not showcased here on the cover,
Okay.
but very, stylized, specific. He drew the covers to Justice League Last Ride, drew Spider-Man back in the 90s for a few seconds. He drew the Hellblazer Black Label book by Tom Taylor.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why I know his art. That's a weird pull for this.
I agree. Feels like a favor and looks like one. And that's unfortunate for this book, which, as I understand it, is not an ongoing. This is going to wrap up in not an insignificantly short amount of issues. But it shows John Kent kind of hanging in the Injustice universe. And I think we're going to see some big swoops, some big swings in this universe because Tom Taylor kind of like is responsible for it for the most part, outside of the video game, of course, which is, of course, it's inspiration.
Right.
But yeah, we're gonna see. I think he's gonna make some big changes to the Injustice universe through this, using the character that he is kind of taken upon himself to shepherd.
Mm.
But yeah, it's a book that exists and you can read it. Moving on. We should also mention this show is sponsored by viewers like you. If you're watching the show live, you can use the super chats. You can ask a question or comment. We'll read it here on the show, and you'll be part of the show and the conversation from now until the heat death of the universe. Tyler Brusso says, "You guys are the best." Well, I appreciate that.
Well,
Thank you very much,
much.
Tyler. I think you're the best. Bryce Harriet, I've been listening for 8 years. I hopefully assume that means to us, but thank you very much. And I'm going on a query for my novel soon.
Wow.
You've been a fundamental to me. Thanks for everything. Can't wait till you're reviewing a comic by me. Well, I can't wait for that myself. Bryce, thank you so much for being with us, and best of luck to you.
Yeah.
Brendan O'Brien, thank you very much for your support.
Thank you.
60-second Comic Fats, who I, of course, I'm familiar with on Twitter, TikTok. Just wanted to pop in and say you are all amazing, and we'll listen to the full show at work later. Thank you very much, 60-second Comics Facts. Welcome back to the show, man. Brendan O'Brien returns to say, "Be the humpback whale sees your monetary value." I appreciate that.
We were talking about wages before.
Right, exactly.
I really like that a lot. Just
this is what I deserve. This is what I'm worth. Ali Alziadi, you were great. Been watching ever since Civil War II. Take care. Thank you very much, Alziadi. I really appreciate it, man. That's been a while. It's funny, we were talking about that recently. You were like, "What's the first episode we did here?" And it was Civil War II.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was asking about that.
Landon 1195 discussion: how would you feel if 616 Peter finally gets to be happy, married, and start a family, but it's with someone other than Mary Jane? I think I've heard this question before. I will say that I don't. I've seen it. You know, it happened during the Clone Saga, and I honestly couldn't. I couldn't be bothered. My interest in Peter Parker as a character, as much as I love him and I care about him, I'm also hyper aware that he's fictitious. And if he's not going to dress up like Spider-Man, I'm not interested. And so when they did that during like the 90s for that little window of time where they're like, "Look, here it goes, and you can read Ben Reilly," I'm like, I don't care about Ben Reilly. Now what? So that was kind of an interesting option for me. But as far as hooking up with somebody else, like if he and Black Cat decide to settle down, I'm not interested in that. I've seen that. And I know where it goes. I'm good. No. Mary Jane is the wife. Like, in those relationships, like Liz Allen was the crush. Betty Brant was like the first girlfriend, for real. You know, Gwen Stacy was the lost love. You know, Black Cat was the fling. And Mary Jane is the wife. And not every woman or relationship, for that matter, needs to be categorized and labeled in that way. But these are fictitious characters in a story. And they all fit archetypes, or at the very least, they represent different parts of these people's lives, in particular, the protagonist's life. And I am not interested in reading about like Peter hooking up with or settling down with Carly Cooper or Sissy Ironwood or Ms. Marvel or whatever. I'm good.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not saying that like that's who they are and should be, but as far as my interpretation of this book is concerned, Mary Jane is Peter's wife.
Okay.
I'm not interested in reading about Peter like seeing Mary Jane as a sister and then meeting some brand new character that was literally engineered by editorial to be his
I feel like if it was done if it made sense, that would be different.
Yeah.
But like it feels like everything they do with him right now is just done to elicit reaction.
Yeah. It's not even like it's an agenda. An agenda I get. A reaction?
Which is weird because that's why art is created, but this is like marketing art.
Yeah.
Putting the art and marketing,
right? Marketing,
I don't know.
It's horrible.
It's not really there. I'll workshop that one.
Lewis Cox, hey Sal and Tiffany, what's going on with Batman? We will tell you in a little bit.
I didn't read this one.
Yeah, well, I did.
Okay, I'm gonna also find out what's going on with Batman. Then
damn right.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Ardwit, ComicPop, whoa.
Well, thank you.
I like that a lot.
I think it's a woo.
Oh, woo. Yeah, I'm sorry, because woe is spelled WOAH, so I thought it was an A.
Yeah.
Just recently, within the last year, started listening, and I love your show. So thank you very much,
Thank you
Ardwit.
very much.
Your passion for comics is infectious. I'm happy to hear that. I wanted to ask if there'd be a chance we could see any Predator on back issues. Well,
that's Preacher.
Preacher. I'm sorry. Well, Preacher's a tough one because maybe in the earlier days we would have done a Preacher book, but that was back when we were like, oh well, obviously YouTube is not Jimmy Fallon, so we can say and do whatever we want, like everybody else is. And YouTube's like, no, we want to be Jimmy Fallon so bad. So
the other problem is with that one, is that
Ben read all of it.
I think 3/4 of us have read it.
Yeah, Tiffany and Ben love and have read Preacher. And so, it'd be tough. It'd be me and Ethan and maybe somebody else talking about Preacher. And even then, Preacher goes on a while. I don't want to just do the whole damn run. And it's, I don't think it would do very well. And the time to do it was when the show came out.
We'll just do a retrospective.
Yeah, like maybe just a different video that we on this channel that we would talk about Preacher. I would like that. What is it about them? Great name.
Yeah.
With some cute emojis. Thank you very much. And Atomica says, hey, popular people. That's subjective, but I appreciate it. Have you been checking out Hollow's Eve? Middling book, but it recently gave the best Peter Parker Spidey in a while. Yeah, that's why I don't read it. Number one, Hollow's Eve is a character I'm not interested in. I do like the design, but the power set is terrible, and the use of that character is offensive. But so I'd never read it. And that's that's a shame. I feel bad for the creative team behind it because they're kind of at a disadvantage.
Okay.
But I will look more into that.
Okay.
To see what's going on. Moving on with some comic books. I was gonna read Shazam 2. I forgot.
Is that your review of it?
Yeah. Sorry, Shazam 2.
I was going to read this and yet I forgot.
Yeah. Well, it was on my list. What about you, Tiffany?
I read 3 different X-Men books this week, and I'll be honest with you.
You don't remember which ones they were?
They kind of all just blended together.
Well, that's good in a way.
In a great way.
Oh,
in a great way, because I'm just oh, okay. I mean, it wasn't like I was they blended all together and I hated it and they sucked.
Yeah.
It's more like they blended together because the teams are communicating with each other to reach the goal of Fall of X. And I'm like, how nice, right? How freaking nice. Because we are entering into the Fall of X time period.
Yeah.
And we're setting up, who's gonna possibly be the problem here, right?
Right. What is gonna bring about?
We're leaning into Orcus here.
Oh, okay.
Which is totally fair.
Yeah.
Totally fair. But we're doing, I think there's 4 different Fall of X books that have come out, written by various creators, including who did Sons of X? I think that was Spurrier did that one from a few weeks back.
Oh, okay.
And then this one was by Steve Orlando, and then I believe we're gonna have one by I think it's Al Ewing, and another one by Kieran Gillen.
Okay, so there we go.
It's we're gonna start leading you down this road.
Yeah.
Here we go. Whether you're ready for it or not, because honestly, I don't know if I'm ready for it. Even though I was the one who was like, maybe it's time for this to stop.
Yeah.
It's still endings are sad.
There was an X-Men initiative or video that Marvel made, which talked about the X-Men in the past tense and looking towards the future, and they referred to Hox and Pox as an event that set up the status quo.
Oh no.
They did it by this is a Marvel video that has and it's a runaway success with 7,000 views, but it has talent like Jonathan Hickman, Grant Morrison, and
the 2 of them talked about it like it was an event.
Yes,
Hickman talked about it like it was an event.
Well, he's not involved in it anymore. He doesn't care.
That's interesting.
Yeah, hosted by Ryan Penagos, by the way, which is a person you may not know, but has over 1 million followers on Twitter. He also works. He's a major player at Marvel. He works at Marvel in a big way. But he interviews them, and it's just very interesting to hear them talk about it, because they are referring to Morrison's era of New X-Men as an initiative, because it was it changed X-Men in a similar way, where it was this is what we're doing with X-Men, and it's all from the guiding principles of one writer.
Okay.
And Hickman did the same thing, and so yeah, they're looking at it that was an event that happened, and then there was some books that were called X-Men and other things, and so yeah. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, for Fall of X, that's absolutely their attitude. It's just
okay, so at least we know we're never going to undo the timelines.
No.
That's why I think that's why they did Sins of Sinister, and they had to get that out of their system.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, anyway, so I read X-Men this week. X-Men number 23 came out by Jerry Duggan with art by Josh Cassara.
Yay.
Yeah, so we got a couple of things. We got Orcus, and we have Sinisters, and we have, of those Sinisters, we have Mother Righteous. And in this issue, we reveal who Mother Righteous is, which I think is interesting, because Duggan...
I thought we knew who that was. I thought that was just a person named Mother Righteous.
Well, remember, she's also one of the Sinisters, right? She's got the heart.
Yeah, right.
Right, but now we find out who she actually is.
Okay.
Which I was like, oh, interesting, right? But the reason I thought was interesting was because I do not believe that she came out of a Duggan book. I believe she came out of a Spurrier book.
I think you're right.
But Gillen, Spurrier, and Duggan have been working really closely with one another, and so I was like, of course, it makes absolute sense that they would reveal her on this.
Yeah, of course.
Sure, whatever. And then it turns out that she is some iteration of Nathaniel Essex's wife.
Oh, okay.
I was like,
that's cool.
we find that out because Dr. Stasis, apparently, who's one of the other Sinisters. So we got our Mr. Sinister, the one that we've been dealing with on Krakoa.
Yes.
We've got Dr. Stasis who's been working with Orcus. We have Mother Righteous, who's been working with magic.
Okay.
And then we have the Orbis Stellaris, who's kind of been doing spacey things.
All right.
So we got the 4 suits.
Yeah.
Right. So our Sinister was put into the hold basically in Krakoa.
Mm-hmm.
Mother Righteous is here and has the memories of everything that happened in Sins of Sinister.
Right.
And so she's using all that to her advantage. Stasis is working with Orcus doing whatever he's doing. And I honestly don't remember what Orbis Stellaris is doing right now, but who cares?
Fair, yeah.
But you know, he apparently he goes home, he has dinner every night with like his family. He's got like 2 like clones of
God,
them.
okay.
But like, he can turn on and off essentially. And so she's like, you're gonna stop doing that now because that's gross. Also, you're not the original Nathaniel.
Oh.
And I'm like,
well, yeah, right. We found that out with because of Kieran Gillen's you know.
Well, like it was always quite like, is Dr. Stasis the original one? Like, could he be the one? Who's the one? Right. So there's a question of like who's the original one? Where like you know, where is that going on? And she's like, there's something else out there. And I'm like, oh, are we talking about the Sins of Sinister, like Dominion sort of, you know, thing that Sinister created?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe
okay. We don't know yet. All right.
But the other big thing that's going to happen in this issue is, of course, there is on the cover.
Oh, an Iron Man Sentinel.
An Iron Man Sentinel. What's all about? What is that? Right?
Did Tony Stark betray the X-Men?
Right? No.
Why not?
Orcus purchased Leifong. Remember, he works for Orcus as well. He purchased up like a whole bunch of like Stark patterns.
Okay.
And Stark had something like a Sentinel essentially, and so they kind of, or like he took Stark tech, he bonded it with a Sentinel, and so like Orcus's whole plan right now and their whole front is that they're going out there and doing like smear campaigns on the mutants, right? And so including, you know, making people like make it look like they've attacked people, or like making people turn into monsters. Remember when Kurt was turning into a monster?
Yeah.
And mutants around the world were? They did that, and they're like, mutants are crazy. Well, look at that. Look how bad they are. They're all like, I mean, maybe they're not all bad, but I mean, they're pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So like, there's a burning building and there's some firemen trapped in there. And so the Sentinel Iron Man thing comes and saves the 2 of them, right? And then immediately turns around and like sees it among the firemen. There's a mutant. He's like, mutant.
Better kill it.
So the X-Men show up and fight it. And then they spin that and they're like, this robot, this Sentinel
came
to help firefighters. And look what they did. What they did. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I hate you.
Insidious.
I hate you, Orcus. Additionally, what they do is they slice magic with like something, because she destroys it in a really cool way, because they attempt to destroy it in via all the ways that you might attempt to destroy a Sentinel. Yeah. To no result.
Oh, no.
They try ice to stop it. Not going to work. They try to superheat it with Firestar's powers. Nope. They have Sync show up and take Polaris's powers so that she can, you know, pull a Magneto. And nope, that doesn't work either. And I'm like, okay. I feel like if you had these,
why not just drop them on Krakoa?
Why? Yeah, this seems to be a bigger problem than you. But that's not the point of this. So Magic utilizes her portals and just opens and closes it and chops it into pieces.
Okay, that's fun.
Leaving the head, which they take with them. But during that fight, she gets like cut on her cheek. And it nanobots.
Yeah.
Nanobots.
Or nanites. Yeah.
Yeah. They're in our system. So we got that going on now. Like, what are they going to do with that? I don't know.
Probably use her eyes to see what's going on in Krakoa.
I mean, they take over her brain. I guess, you know, additionally, we remind everybody like, hey, don't forget Wilson Fisk is on the island.
Yeah, don't forget about that.
Oh yeah, Wilson Fisk is on the island. I forgot about that. Emma walks along the beach with him. She's like in a little like Emma Frost bikini kind of thing.
Sure.
He's in a full suit.
Yes, he always is.
And she's like, listen, like
you're on an island, you can chill out.
You get to be here because you're married to a mutant, but you know, and we will offer you protections as long as you stay within the guise of our laws. But if you don't, then we're not like, you can't just use us.
It's like, okay, I will though.
Yeah, no doubt. Cyclops shows up and he's like ready to go. He's like not bikini. He's like bathing suit Cyclops.
Yeah, he's vacation mode Cyclops.
And he's like, I got your call, Emma. You must have heard that Jean and I are taking a little break.
Isn't it like free love over there? Who cares? But yeah.
And she's like, I hadn't, but I appreciate your gusto.
Right.
She's like,
Nice.
it's ill-timed because I have other bad news for you.
Right.
And she drops that Kamala Khan
Has died.
which I was like,
we didn't talk about
we
that.
didn't talk about that, but someone in my Twitch chat had mentioned it, so I was able to piece it all together, so we're fine.
Naturally.
That they mentioned like the conversation that they had before, what this might mean, and if Cyclops has a different perspective on some things.
Yeah.
Now.
Well, because of course, Cyclops and Kamala fought together when he was a young version of himself on the Champions. So like he has a direct link with her. Like they are teammates.
I think. Well, yes. So like that's why they wanted to tell like him.
Yeah.
And so like he mentions like her family and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like okay,
yeah,
cool. So that one ends like it's sad.
Yep.
Like it's just Cyclops alone on the beach thinking he was going to
get some.
Yeah, and then instead he's just sad.
Well, you can always call Wolverine if he wants to. But
what, he can call Wolverine?
Yeah,
if he wants to get some.
Well, I mean, doesn't he share a room with Jean?
I guess so. So again, like I said, this issue does a lot, but we do get the promise of what happens on the cover. The cover shows up with a Iron Man Sentinel, and that's what we get. And I'm like, okay, awesome.
Yeah,
great,
fair enough.
10 out of 10. But also, don't forget, Sinister's and Orcus, and Kamala died. Which the fact that they did it at the end, I'm like, did you
add that? Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. It's hard to tell because that feels also very like end of an episode kind of moment,
right? Like you got your ending, and then like, oh no,
yeah.
So
I could also see it being sort of a wink and a nod to that type of storytelling.
That's fair.
I don't know. So it was a good issue. I almost said episode. But all the X titles were pretty good this week.
Yeah. Let's talk about another one then.
Oh, let's talk about the Mutant First Strike.
I
thought this one was kind of interesting the way in which it was told. The Fall of X. I think it's just Mutant First Strike #1.
Yep.
Written by Steve Orlando with art by Valentina Pinti. I'm unfamiliar with that artist's name.
Me too.
But
I like that cover though.
That cover, I freaking love this cover for a lot of reasons. Because it's like it's dark, it's creepy, it's spooky. It shows a little bit of kind of what's going on within the issue, but also looks like Nimrod's eye.
Yes.
I'm like, that's neat.
Is that on purpose?
I guess. I mean, it's hinting at greater things. At least I think it looks like Nimrod's eye. Maybe it doesn't.
It does look like an eye, though.
It does look like an eye. What'd you hear?
It was just a bug.
Is it a bee?
No, it was just a fly.
Is it the bees?
Another great day saving the bees.
Hashtag bee talk. So this issue starts off. It has like almost a Civil War kind of moment in a way where it's like, here's a sleepy little perfect town with like sleepy little perfect people just hanging out, going about their day.
And oh no,
when there's a tremendous explosion.
Oh,
and everyone's like, and all the political pundits. I love the fact that they make them look all like they almost look exactly the same.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's really funny.
That's nice.
Or like it's the mutants,
right? Mutants again.
Yep.
Like it never is, and it's always proven isn't. But sure.
Never
mind. They're like anti-cancer drugs they gave us, but whatever.
So well, they mentioned that too. They mentioned that they dangled this carrot. And,
I mean, they did
trying to make us dependent on them.
They did.
That talks about.
I mean, here's the thing: they did do that. Like that was why they did it.
Bishop's obviously
in
captain
his own book
of the war of the captains, commanders of the captains.
I don't know.
I think he's commander of captains.
Okay.
So he's in charge of what Cyclops used to be. So they rally a little group together, and they've got a fun new set of uniforms.
Cool.
Got a red X because he's like, we need to go. We have to respond regardless of how people are going to react.
So it's like the Red Cross, but red X.
Yeah, we need to show up because like when they see that white and red like X, like they need to know that like we're
here to help.
And I was like, okay, cool. So we get a whole bunch of mutants, some that I was very unfamiliar with, to do cleanup, to help people out, and to try to help the situation and also discover what really happened. So they find a skull, and via Tempo and other mutants, they are able to ascertain that this mutant was like cobbled together
like a bomb, like a dirty bomb,
of a person, but not like it wasn't like they took a person and did something to them.
No,
they created
they made one like a Frankenstein bomb,
which Orcus had been kind of working on that type of thing,
with Domino and stuff, sure.
And we see that behind this though is the branch of Orcus that is Judas Traveler, who was working on.
I'm sorry, what? Did you say Judas Traveler?
Yeah, I've mentioned Judas Traveler before. He works for Orcus. He works in their narrative department.
This is the first time hearing of this.
You know that is so not true.
Let me see him.
Let you see him there.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, no, I don't remember.
You don't remember Judas Traveler?
No.
Being part of this?
No.
Yeah, he's helping to spin the narrative against the mutants.
I mean, Judas Traveler telling good stories is a little hypocritical, don't you think? Who's Judas Traveler? Somebody asked. Judas Traveler's nobody. Judas Traveler took an interest in Peter Parker during the Clone Saga, and Marvel's like, I don't know what to do with this. He's too powerful. How come he's so powerful? Then they were like, well, mutants are big. He's a mutant then. And then they were like, so let me get this straight. This guy can like go through time and like do anything and lift whatever and do all this crap. And he's never been noticed by Apocalypse.
No.
And they were like, oh, well, then I guess he's not a mutant then? How about he's a phony? How about it's all fake and he made it all up? And he's like an illusionist? And I'm like, all right.
And he's a mutant.
What?
Well, because he says, like, but...
now he's a mutant again?
He's like, now that my fellow mutants have arrived.
Oh, my God. Maybe he's pretending... it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. But yeah, Judas Traveler, man.
I remember him being... well, okay. Maybe he's a mutant, but he's like a crappy mutant then. Because I remember him being... In the spider offices, if you read 101 Ways to End the Clone Saga, like, they were talking about how he's going to be... They were like, oh, he'll be huge. He'll be like a big bad now. And they're like... There's too many big mutants that would have noticed him.
I know. I feel like I definitely mentioned Judas Traveler before.
Okay, well, there we go.
Being on the bad guy team there. But yeah, just Judas is like he's working this whole thing. They're playing checkers. He's playing chess.
Sure, he is. Yeah,
like that's what's
badly
happening right now.
He's a crappy character.
Because he's like they're gonna bring a strike team. They're gonna show up, and that's fine. And his team that he's working with is like they're gonna fix the problem. They're going to solve the issues that we created for this town.
Right. And
he's like, that doesn't matter.
We're gonna need some scryers.
He's like, what? He's like, things already set in motion.
Yeah, I'll bet.
So they release, they tip off a pro-human group that shows up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, like the whatever. Yeah,
they're called the Watchdogs.
All right.
I was like, what are they called? The Dogs of War? No, they're the Watchdogs. They say release the Dogs of War. So Cyclops, it helps to keep them at bay while everyone else is working throughout the town. It's really kind of a cool issue that shows you why Krakoa could be such a good thing.
Yes.
Why
look at how effective they are.
Yeah. And like the people there initially are like, get out of here, rah.
Yeah.
And then as they're like just being helped, they're just like, oh,
okay, well, yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
Yeah, like, all right, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we get to highlight a few mutants that maybe haven't shown up, maybe some that people have forgotten about, so that's kind of cool.
Sure.
And at the end of the day, Jean kind of takes all like the Watchdogs and puts them over there and tells them to just kind of walk in a circle until they get arrested. So we take that like point off the table.
Great.
We figure out that clearly like someone had created this. They think it might be Orcus, right? The mayor of the town is like so thankful to the X-Men for being there, not for the X-Men, for the mutants for being there. Puts out press releases and all that, and that's when essentially we discover that the big thing the Judas Traveler wanted to do was create bad press for them. And so like the leader of the Watchdogs is there, and he's like, we came to help the people, and like I was brutalized, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there is a pundit, and she is interviewing the mayor, and she's like really like giving her a hard time about it. Like she's just like, oh sure, like you say that it was this other thing, but like they have no proof of that. There's no proof.
Yeah, I'm just asking questions.
It's
did they
like that kind of thing.
Does Judas Traveler find out that there's no such thing as bad publicity?
Well, he is standing in front of a wall of TVs that has that woman saying like,
a bunch of
many people
crap.
feel that there's yet another act of mutant aggression coming.
I love the many people argument, just overall.
Yeah.
Many people said that. Yeah? Many?
Well, we discover in the end that Judas Traveler has hired, he is paying her as a pundit.
Of course.
Like, there's plenty of work for you in the future.
Yeah.
So Judas Traveler helping Orcus out to create this narrative.
That's great. Good use of that character because he sucks. That's awesome. All right, cool. Props to Steve Orlando for using that character.
They had set him up as being part of Orcus. He has a seat.
He has a seat.
He's on one of the graphics.
Yeah, I feel like there's I'm sure I remember you saying that. But anyway, Finally, your favorite book of the year.
Oh,
of the
okay. You want me
week.
to just go right into this one?
This is the X-Men section.
Okay, Immortal X-Men number 12 came out this week and was spectacular, as always, because just when you thought that it was going to be Ben Percy mostly dealing with the Colossus issue, it turns out
Kieran Gillen takes the ball and runs with it.
Yeah, like took this ball and is just running it down the field.
Yeah.
Or whatever, because I don't know sports, let's be honest.
Kieran Gillen is the Roy Kent of this soccer game.
Maybe. I think Kieran Gillen's nicer.
Yeah, he is.
I like Roy Kent. He's got a good heart.
That's right.
But then he had to leave. He had to go do something else.
No, but then he came back. Remember, he's working for the team.
Yeah, but it's not like he's Jamie.
No.
Anyway, we're watching Ted Lasso.
Again.
Season 3.
No
first
spoilers.
issue. No spoilers. Their first episode. Please don't spoil it for us.
I hate when he died.
So as we all know, Piotr is under the influence of what I don't know what the word is for it, but they call it something specific, but you know, another use of like narrative here in which like he's trapped almost in a Russian novel because so like his brother has this person who's writing for them, and so like he's a sleeper agent essentially, and like Piotr is very aware of it,
right?
And trying he would do anything he could to fight against it, but it's incredibly difficult.
Well, sure.
And so he is on the council now, and he has gotten Storm's vote, as we know, and he's made a deal with Sebastian Shaw because Shaw wants to do certain things.
Yeah,
he would like to get a certain person on the council.
Yeah, I'll bet.
And so,
who is it? Is it the one who yells from the Hellfire?
Hang
Just
on,
thinking of all the members of the Hellfire Club.
You're gonna find out who it is.
Is it Judas Traveler?
No, it's not Judas Traveler. It's Judas Travelers.
It's a scryer. It's Miles Warren.
Sebastian Shaw calls for a closed meeting, and by that means they kick off the 4 people who might be infected by Sinister.
Okay.
And so exit Emma, Xavier, Exodus, and Hope.
Yes.
And so that really diminishes the amount of votes that can go into it. In the last fall Road to the Fall of X issue that was written by Cy Spurrier, Nightcrawler's left, so he's not on the council either, and he gave his vote to Storm.
Yes.
So now Piotr has 3 votes.
Right. He's getting on this council.
Well, he's already on the council.
Right. Well,
So, and he made the deal with like Sebastian Shaw.
I know. And
the deal is they're like Shaw's like, we need to fill the seat now, and Mystique and Destiny are like, no. And Kitty's like, no. Destiny goes like, you're working for Orcus at one point during this whole conversation, and like.
Oh, okay,
we'll
good.
Get into that.
Put him in the hole.
We'll get into that. But we reveal who does he want? It's Celine. She's back.
Oh no, the Cerebro cast. We're very excited to hear that.
Baby. Oh, no doubt. I think she's fabulous looking.
Of course she is. She always is.
She's got a great outfit. I like a good like single pop of color. She's got that going on.
Yeah.
It's all black, just the red. Bam.
Oh
done.
yeah, no,
Little
she knows how to make an entrance. Yeah.
Absolutely.
She's a sadistic psychopath too.
She's like, I'm fine. I'm here for that. She's like, I'm here. And they're like, we didn't resurrect you. She's like, I'm magic.
Right.
I don't need you.
Yes.
I can just come back. Okay, where do I sit?
Nowhere. Go away.
Well, they vote.
I know.
And
she's in.
Yeah, and she's in.
Ta-da.
That's when Destiny's like, excuse me, you work for Orcus. So they're trying to like, they're like, well, we need a psychic to confirm that. We need to have someone read his mind.
Celine!
Like, well, we can't. Well, he offers that. He's like, she could vouch for
No!
And they're like, and all the other psychics can't be trusted.
And they're like, I've got Mephisto here. He'll vouch for you.
Hello! But no, they get Rasputin to come. You know, from the Sins of Sinister timeline.
Oh, yeah.
So
Rasputin 4, yeah.
Yeah, she reads his mind. She's like, no.
Why not get one of the psychics you know personally?
Well, she's pretty, like, supposedly pretty, you know.
Why? No, we're not getting new people.
But the question is, like,
where's Jean? She's not doing anything.
Was Destiny wrong? Well, the problem is, Shaw points out, he's like, well, Hope's, you know, can't do it, and Jean's not a big fan of me anyway.
Okay.
So he's like, you can't trust her. I'm like, I think you can trust Jean.
Yeah.
Anyway, Piotr, like, has it out with Kitty, where, like, he's being written for that, like, you know, we're like, this place is corrupt and blah blah blah, we gotta do whatever, and like he suggests that they release the Sins of Sinister timeline to the world to let them know what's
fantastic idea.
And she's like, that's a no.
Yeah,
like we can't do that.
Yeah.
and he's like, this place is corrupt, and that's why I'm here. I'm meant to be like the good, and like in like his subconscious is like, Kitty, please, you have to know
that I'm full of
something's
crap.
wrong. Like,
Yeah.
come on. The psychics who are outside of, you know, the doings are like, Hope's like, we should listen in. We could listen. And he's like, no. Like, Xavier's like, we can't do that.
Okay.
Because if we do that, that's basically like that could prove that we're influenced. Like, we have to just let them do their thing. She's like, no, I'm gonna do it. And that's when she finds out that they're gonna release whatever. She ends up having a fight with Rasputin. Exodus handles it in his own way, though.
Naturally.
He like calls forth Storm.
Okay.
He calls her back from Morocco. He's like, get your ass back down here. So she's like, what are you doing? Colossus, what are you?
What is this? What's this all about?
What's happening here? And he's like, you picked me to do what I needed to do.
Right.
And I'm doing what I need to do.
Yeah.
And so they're gonna hold the vote because now they're not gonna win.
Right.
Right. And so like Piotr tries one last thing with her with Storm where he says something specific.
Yeah.
Where he says, I'm not your playing piece. But he tries to emphasize your, like as though to be like,
right, but like,
I am someone's.
Right, exactly.
And like she doesn't catch on. So like presumably.
Okay.
And you know, it's really sad because he's like, I'm trapped in a Russian novel. It was wrong for me to hope.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that sucks. Meanwhile, Mystique and Destiny have it out because Mystique's got that information, that message from the future of like Destiny talking to Sinister, being like, you know, like I would, you know, set fire to the world to save her, that kind of thing, right? And she's like, what's going on with you? Were you wrong? Were you just trying to? What's going on? And Destiny's like, it's weird. Ever since we got rid of all the Moiras, everything's different. Nothing's settled yet. And so she's like, I have like glimpses of the far-flung future. I'm good for the short term, but like anything in the long term, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Okay.
Then you're off the council because you're useless. You're completely useless.
Well, I mean,
the only reason we put up with your evil is because you can see the future.
Right. But I mean, like, even in that instance, like if something was like someone was going to shoot someone, she'd be like, they're going to shoot someone.
Yeah. We all got taken over by Mr. Sinister. You didn't see that coming. Thanks for nothing.
That's true. So like Destiny like freaks out at one point too. She's like, you're going to kill me.
Right.
And Mystique's like, what?
Yeah.
What?
That's
no.
Weird.
So they hug, and that's when we see Mother Righteous like clue into Mystique. Because don't forget, Mystique thanked her for that, and that's like giving her like power over that.
Right.
So she like makes her incredibly angry, and she like skewers Destiny.
Oh.
And kills her.
Okay.
And you're like,
yay.
So then Destiny's brought back, but she's brought back by Hope, which means that now the council's like, I think it's Shaw is like, oh,
we can't trust
Destiny
her now.
is on the council, but she can't have a vote anymore. So now they can win their vote. Essentially. And I'm like, Gillen is like, talk about playing chess versus checkers.
Yeah.
Like he's playing a game I can't comprehend.
Yeah.
But definitely Gillen's doing some work here, I think, to help to like destabilize the Quiet Council as we're like rolling into the fall of X.
That's how we're gonna get the fall of X. I mean, it's just like
it's just really cool to see these books kind of like working in tandem with one another to make this happen.
Absolutely.
Regardless of what it is.
Yeah.
I think the next fall of X book promises to talk about Apocalypse and Genesis.
Cool, good.
So I'm interested to see what they're going to be, like, what their role in this will be. But there's a lot been going on. And you know, the idea of having Selene on the council, you know, for I'm sure the limited amount of time that the council might exist.
Right.
It's just, you know, it's become very villain heavy right now. And
that's great. More dramatic tension.
Sure.
From Michael Dorn and Sammy Basri, I read Steelworks.
So did I.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah.
I don't agree with John Henry Irons' approach. I think it's like really very much in character for him, but also, you know, it promises a very interesting status quo. You know, Irons is doing a thing where he's like, oh, we're going to pull Metropolis up, but we're going to do it without superhero or without super people. Like we need to retire Superman and super people from like their active participation in the like evolution and support of Metropolis.
Seemingly in the day-to-day, he's like, they need to learn to rely on themselves.
Yes. Like Metropolis, human beings need to do that. And you know, so like, I think maybe they'll probably, I mean, it feels like one of those things where like the lesson will be at the end, like, no, Superman's great and super people are honest and da-da-da. But like, it's very in character with John Henry Irons. It's also very frustrating. It makes him a more well-rounded character. You know, the art's fine, but the writing is fun. And What I didn't what I expected but didn't got was a lot of needlessly verbose. You see that with a lot of like newer writers. Michael Dorn. I don't know if he's done a lot of comic books before, but it read like a regular comic.
Yeah. I don't know if that's like he gets it, or
right?
if there's a good editor involved here. I honestly don't know, but I agree with that.
Yeah.
I expected the same thing. I was like, all right,
this is gonna feel a little. He's gonna get his footing, but he already has it.
Yeah. So it was. I am like familiar with Steel, in that I like his design. I like what he stands for a lot. Like just like a guy stepping up to the plate. Like I love that.
Yeah.
But I wasn't really up on what was recently happening to him. But I think the book did a good enough job of kind of cluing me in.
Exactly.
So I was like, okay.
Reintroduced his daughter, who's also fun. I just recently finished a story.
Was that his daughter?
Yeah. Oh no, niece.
His niece.
I'm sorry.
like, no.
I think of her like his daughter.
Well, maybe he does too.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. I just recently read this like big book with her in it, and I was like, I've been thinking about her for a while. I'm like, oh my god. So I was like, oh hey, there she is.
Yeah.
But anyway, good book. I'd recommend it if you were looking for more stuff like that.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting take, and obviously there's the potential for some drama there as well, but don't be scared off just because it's like a celebrity writer writing it.
No,
it feels like a book.
Yeah, I agree.
Come on, brain, get it together.
NNM says, any idea if DC will ever release a trade for all 12 issues of Human Target instead of the 2 hardcovers that we do have? Seems like common sense. We'll be able to buy that. How can we pressure DC into doing that? If the trades or here's the thing: if the hardcovers sell, they'll do it. The trades are inevitable. I would expect, but Human Target doesn't have Batman on the cover, so it'll be tough. Like Gotham City Year One, we can expect everything, but with Human Target, it's gonna be a little tougher. But the fact they did 2 hardcovers suggests to me that they're gonna do at least 1 hardcover with all of them in it. They did the same thing with Doomsday Clock, so I would expect that. Ray Farr, ComicPop Woo, thank you very much, Ray. I've been rewatching Tiffany's Spider-Man PS4 gameplay and forgot how bloodthirsty Spider-Man Tiff is. How do you feel about Venom in 2? Hyped for it, can't wait, looking forward to it. Got some real speculation on this book or this video game.
When's that coming out?
October.
I think I have to replay because I think my game is gone.
Probably.
I think your game exists.
Yeah.
But my game is not. I think.
Well, you should. It'd be great. Play all the DLC too. And then Miles.
I did play Miles.
I know you did. The last episode will drop probably in the next couple of days over on ComicPop Plays.
Okay.
Regrettably, we got demonetized, so we're gonna have to do something about that. I don't know what we're gonna do.
Yeah, our content wasn't different enough.
Yeah, wasn't different enough from something else. I don't know. As for Venom, I can't wait. I hope it's Kraven. I hope Kraven becomes Venom in this video game.
Oh yeah.
Because they're like, oh Harry, and I'm like, Harry's barely a character. He's a side quest. Like he's not anything. I'm not interested in watching Harry become Venom, but I am interested in Kraven. Being Kraven for like the first half of the game and then becoming Venom in the next half of the game, especially since we have Zdarsky's version of that in Life Story. So and wouldn't it be cool to see that? And then maybe Venom gets more skins or something like that, because I want to see that like Life Story Venom Kraven character.
That'd be fun.
But yeah, I am also just speculating here, but I'm sure they're going to kill Peter in this game. Landon 1195, you'd quit reading Amazing Spider-Man if Peter and Felicia were married. I quit reading Spider-Man because it's a terrible book.
Yeah.
I'd quit Amazing Spider-Man if it was terribly written. That's the only condition that I have for quitting any book. Nero, thank you very much for your support.
Thank you.
Ray Farr, with all this MJ controversy in these recent Spider-Man books, have any of the writers brought up MJ's sister Gail? I love when she pops up in stories. No. But we did in the most recent episode of Back Issues, which is coming out on Wednesday.
Yeah, we did.
He also goes on to say, also, did you see the confirmed skins in Spider-Man 2? We're getting Arachnite. I audibly lolled and scratched my head. Infinity Warps, fart. Can't wait.
Oh my god.
I know. And you're getting multiple color versions of him as well. But Arachnite is a costume. Of course he's a costume, because you need one. You need all the costumes.
You need all the costumes. Give me the costumes.
Yeah. I think they didn't put Captain Universe in there last time, so... Still plenty of room. Raidu, happy Monday. You too, man. Love the infamous Iron Man back issues. What did you think would be the best way to implement Doom in the MCU? Carefully and with poise.
Yeah.
Fantastic, great, fun character actor to play Doom, who's down to play him in at least 20 movies. Go as real as you can and as accurately as possible with the costume. Doom's the kind of character who would like to wear a cape, so put them in one.
Yep.
Go for it. Go
Yeah.
full Doom with it.
Yeah.
Those are all my conditions, you know?
Mhm.
If you can go back in time, grab Daniel Day-Lewis in like age 28, you know? It'd be great.
Yeah, just use the time machine.
Curative writer says, I got real sick, time off work, finally allowed me to go and finish every episode of back issues I had left. Now it's weird hearing all you talking at less than 2 times speed. Well,
yay!
thanks for watching anyway, man. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing better.
Yeah, me too.
Keenan Meyer, currently hitting bench press with Sound Tiffany in my ears. Thanks for the superhero motivation. Anytime, man. You know you could do that one more rep. Come on, let's go.
You got this. Come on.
Christian Sage. What characters from Marvel and DC have been underutilized, and who of those characters would you like to see used more? Obviously, Blue Devil and Sleepwalker from both DC and Marvel. Tiffany, any thoughts?
No.
Girk Pectus, did you see the trailer for the new upcoming Star Wars gangster game? That's Star Wars Outlaws, I believe. I love Jedi Survivor, but I am bored of Jedi and want to see more of the underworld. Yes, I watched it while you were asleep. I tried to show it to you, but clearly you were unconscious.
I had a nap.
My concern is
I needed a little bit of a nap, folks.
Yeah.
But, I will watch it.
I think it's Xbox exclusive. I don't know if that's the case, but I saw like the Xbox logo all over it, and I'm like, well, if it is Xbox exclusive, unfortunately, I'm never going to play it.
That's not true. I've got Game Pass.
Oh, okay.
It's just
there it is.
PlayStation,
Xbox,
PC,
PlayStation, PC. Good. Yeah, the game looks fantastic.
Well, that's funny that you should say that, because I said that recently in my chat, and like some people agreed and some people didn't. We were playing Jedi Survivor right now, and some folk like agreed with me, and other folks were like, "No, what's the point?" And I'm like, I maybe I don't want to be a Jedi.
Yeah,
maybe I just want to try to make my way in the verse.
That's what I've always wanted. All I've ever wanted is a game where it's like, third person perspective, and it's like open world, and you're a smuggler, and you build your ship, and you take jobs, and you build your ship. You buy pieces. Maybe you have like an option. You go to Watto. He's like, I've got all these skeletons of ships here. You can buy this. It's a Nubian or an X-wing, because he's really old.
Yeah.
And it's like all these different ships from across the trilogies. And each time he's like, well, that's a pretty hefty price. Maybe you might want to go to my friend's shop where he's got bigger ships, And you buy junk and you put them together and you can customize your ships, and then you get faster, And
you do jobs.
Yeah, and you take jobs, and you can take them from like the Empire or the Rebels or the gangsters, like from the Hutts, exactly. And like, so, if you take a lot of Hutt jobs, you're going to lean more towards the Empire, but you'll still have options for Rebel jobs. If you take a lot of Rebels jobs, you're going to get more options from Rebels, but fewer options in the Empire until eventually it's closed off to you. It rates itself. It's a really fun game that doesn't exist, but I'm waiting for it. Andre Didier, love the recent Mark Waid interview. Thank you very much. That was a lot of fun. I'm glad he was there. I'm very lucky to have him. Landon 1195, Norman as Venom in Spider-Man 2 and Harry as Goblin. I don't want to see either of those things. But to each their own. And Tinfoil Tyrant, Javier Bardem for Doom. He's too old. No, thank you. Now, finally, Daredevil number 12 from Chip Zdarsky and Marco Cicchetto.
Freaking cover is gorgeous. Who did that?
Marco Cicchetto.
Are you sure?
You can look at the...
I can't read what that says.
Well, it's great. And the book continues to be great. We're wrapping up this series. Daredevil is... it's all done. He's made his deal with the proverbial devils. But Foggy's soul is in hell because the Beast took it or whatnot, and so
just ask Wolverine to go get it. He went there.
Seriously, that'd be really fun.
Wolverine's got an in,
right?
Or get Solemn.
Yeah,
he's not gonna do that.
No, but instead he meets up with Blind Spot, which is a fun character that everyone forgot about. And Zdarsky's like, I read these books. I know what you're talking about. Relegates him to being like a kind of temple guardian, and then goes, oh, you can leave, and he does. And then Daredevil's like, okay, I gotta go to hell and fight the Beast, so I'm gonna kill myself. And then Elektra's like, no, you're not, I love you. And he's like, okay. And so they fight, and there's like the whole book is just a big fight between Daredevil and Elektra, where he forces her to kill him. And then he goes to like kind of purgatory, runs into his dad, and his dad's like, come on. And he's like, I've been to hell before. I've been around for a long time. But this is different. This is the domain of the Beast. And so his father shows up, and he's like, I'm going to get you ready to fight the Beast. And then that's a woefully short scene where Daredevil then descends the staircase into hell or whatever, but he's wearing a new suit, and it's all white because he's fighting on behalf of God or something. Okay. So this is more fun and more exciting than Daredevil's been in the last like 10 issues. So I'm excited to see more of this and wrap it up.
I literally cannot get over how gorgeous that cover is.
Cicchetto is a powerhouse.
Like, what the hell?
Like, Marvel knows it because, of course, there's an upcoming book that I've been asking for since the acquisition of the Predator license. and that is Wolverine versus Predator, or Predator versus Wolverine, really, published by 20th Century Comics. Eat me. But if you're going to put that ugly ass logo on your comic books, you better also be willing to say that it's R-rated. If you're not going to put Marvel anywhere near that logo, you better put that like Predator license to good use and have it be like the bloodiest effing comic you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because it's two bladed villains or characters just having at each other. But Chichetto did the cover. I'm also devastated by that book because Greg Land's art is in that book.
Yeah, I know.
I am.
I know. I think they have it out for you.
I'm like, why would you do that? That's like, hey, I got this great new Tarantino movie, and Channing Tatum's in it.
Yeah, but you at least know the Predators are going to look like the movies.
That's true. Or the video, or the action figures.
Right.
Yes, because it'll be ripped right from the images.
Which is fine, because that will look good.
Yeah, just from those still images that he can trace from the Blu-ray.
Well, maybe you're not tracing them. Maybe he's just,
Oh, maybe he's not even drawing them. Maybe he's just taking them out of context.
No,
then...
I was saying.
I mean, look at Photoshop. You can remove the backgrounds now.
Okay.
Dazed Toys says, hi, y'all. I was reading DC Pride and learned about the Rachel Pollack's run on Doom Patrol. I was interested in reading it, but I haven't heard any comic readers share their thoughts or curious about yours. I've never read it. I've never read a lot of Doom Patrol.
I don't think no, I don't think I did either.
No, I'm sorry.
No.
I wish I could help you out with that, but yeah, I didn't read a lot of Doom. I didn't really read a lot of the Grant Morrison one either.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, like Doom Patrol, even though it has a lot of creators who have worked on it, for a lot of people it's either the Grant Morrison run or more recently kind of the Gerard Way run, because I think a lot of people,
Yeah. And Nick Bledsoe says, hey, Sal, check out Star Wars Outlaws. It's pretty similar to the game you just described. I'll try when the game comes out.
Yeah. Well, Sal said he saw the trailer, but
yeah, I saw the trailer. But it was a lot of there was no in-game footage. It was just cutscenes.
I'm looking it up right now. The Doom Patrol thing, not the
Star
Wars
not
thing.
Star Wars.
The Star Wars thing, I'll look at that later.
And Ray Farr, Wolverine in Hell. Hey, Bub, I'm doing my lawyer a favor, and I'm looking for a guy named Fudgy. Something like that. Snick, haha. Yeah, Foggy. But yeah, man.
I have seen her run.
That is to say, I saw it.
No, I trust me. There's like a cover that like I've seen like a million times.
Yes, I know that. Yeah, I know that cover a lot, but I don't know the run.
I don't know the run either, but I've seen that cover a lot.
Yeah, and finally, Batman 136 from Chip Zdarsky with art by Jorge Corona and Belen Ortega. I believe there's like a backup, which I also read, which is fine.
I thought she was pouring something on him. I realized that's her whip now.
Oh, it looks like she's pouring something on him though.
I was like,
but it's definitely your whip.
Okay.
Yeah, so Batman is fine. He's all fine here now. Thank you. How are you, actually? That's what he's saying. He just got back from his trip through the multiverse, and that was fine. It's as fine as Batman is. And so now he's back, and he's like really messed up, and he's like he lost his hand, and he got it replaced with a robot hand. He doesn't want anybody to know about it for some reason, and he's so the villain of this run is going to be the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh. And Batman himself has infected all the previous multiversal Batmans with Zur-En-Arrh. So now they have Zur-En-Arrh Batmans within their subconscious. And so Batman has returned from the multiverse, and he's really more closed off than ever before. He's sick. Like, he's sick in the head. Batman Zur-En-Arrh is getting more powerful, and he himself is damaged. He's missing a hand, and he won't share anything. He removed all of the safeguards and bodily info that his suit's supposed to send to Oracle. So now no one can know how Batman's doing at any point. He goes to Selina. He tracks her down and rips off his mask and cries. And he's like, hey, we're supposed to be together, and we're not. And she's like, I can't imagine taking this seriously, and leaves. And then Batman gets a ping in the in Wayne Manor. And all of the Bat family that is alive is there making breakfast at 5:30 in the morning. So it's like Jason and Stephanie and Tim and Duke and everybody's there, and they're all making pancakes. And Batman is there, and he envisions them all burning to death because he's just that miserable and upset. And this book is okay. So Tiffany and I are from New Jersey, and there is there's a place on the boardwalk called Seaside Heights.
Yeah.
And at Seaside Heights, it's been washed away by the storms twice over now. But back in the day, there was this roller coaster, kind of. It was on the pier overlooking the water. It had this big white bucket that you sat in. and it had been there for decades. And when you got into it, you were promised a ride, and it technically is one. But at every turn, the corners are so sharp that you hurt yourself, and there are so many of them. And at any moment, you can get your bearings and look over the ocean and see that, like, I'm riding a roller coaster, and I can see the ocean. I can see the boardwalk. There's some beautiful vistas, and I'm on, admittedly, a ride. But at every turn, I am hurt at some point on this sharp edge. And then you realize, like, about 2 seconds into the ride, that you are just going like this all the time until finally the ride is over, and you go, I don't think I'm going to do that again. But you're happy that you did it because, it's an institution. That's what this book is. And it's really a shame because, like, I think that Chip Zdarsky may be one of the top 10 writers at DC Comics. It might be even one of the top 5 writers at the Big Two. But he used to be one of the top 3. And I don't think that his writing has diminished because Public Domain is still a phenomenal series. And when he does these individual issues, like the Daredevil book I described earlier, they are phenomenal.
Right.
But these runs, these ongoings are... This Batman run is not great.
Oh.
That multiverse book was not good. It was fine. And it's so funny because that's like the theme of this book. Like, Batman, the opening page is Batman wearing his cowl with no shirt on, being inspected by Mr. Terrific, and he's like, I'm fine. And he's so unconvincing. Like, that's what this whole, like, that's what Batman the title has been since Scott Snyder left it. Has been fine. Like, it's just been this book that is insisting that nothing has been hurt or damaged or tarnished about this book. And everyone in the whole world going, there's something wrong with this book. There's something broken or sick with Batman. And the Batman book is being like, but we got Jorge Jimenez drawing it. Look at how great it looks. And everyone's like, I mean, it is great looking sometimes, but then sometimes it really isn't. Like some of this run where it's like ugly, and it has no business being ugly because DC pays better than Marvel. And so I'm just like, I don't know. This book is frustrating because I want to like it. And if you were to describe the things that happen in them, I'd be like, that's cool.
Yeah, because when you say that to me, I'm like, yeah, all right, that sounds neat.
Right, like the failsafe concept and the Zur-Anah idea. If you were to say to me, the pitch is that, like, Batman of Zur-Anah is the secret villain of this book, and he is just seeking to infect and corrupt Batman and just claw his way into being the dominant personality, I'd be like, that sounds really frustrating, but I guess I get it, and I definitely greenlight it if I was an editor. But reading it month to month, I'm like, no, like I'm over it is the problem. Like, I'm over the Zur-Anah thing, mostly because it's ever present, but it's not actually in the story. It's just window dressing. Like, there'll be a backup where the Batman of Zur-Anah takes over Batman and fights the Joker. That's a great idea and a really solid backup story. I don't remember. I think he might have even drawn it, but, like, it looks really great and it's a really fun idea. And that idea all by itself is great. But, like, what does that have to do with the story? What does that have to do with this? And it's like, but that's part of it. It's like, but how long is that going to go?
I guess we'll find out.
Right. But, like, how long though?
But isn't story part of it? Like, isn't journey a journey part of
Absolutely.
The story?
And sometimes I'm really on board for the journey, and other times I'm just straight up not.
Okay.
And this is one of those times.
Is this like a subjective thing or an objective thing?
It's absolutely a subjective thing. I hope people like it.
Okay.
Here's the thing. The most frustrating thing is, when Zdarsky first jumped on this book, I'm like, this is dope. This is awesome. This is fun. I don't care if it's like a Zdarsky version of Tower of Babel. I don't care if, like, the Zur-Anah thing has been done to death. I don't care if, like, Grant Morrison had way too many good ideas that were only good for their run and then completely destroyed the character. And I'm looking at you, Grant Morrison, for, like, everything you've ever written, because it worked out great for you, but, like, you infected DC with these terrible ideas that people aren't capable of executing. I'm just sorry. You're just like, here's this idea, and then, like, everyone's like, I like that idea, I'm gonna do it, and it's like, well, they can't do it. Look at you, Damien. And it's like, so I've been championing it, but on Twitter or on Reddit, people are unhappy. Like, people are like, this book sucks. Like, people are saying this book sucks. Many people are saying this book sucks. No, I'm saying, but I have seen people like being much harsher than I am about it, and I'm not letting it infect me, or affect me, but I am aware of it, and I haven't seen anyone saying this book is great. The problem is I haven't seen any fanfare or any counter to that point. I'm only seeing the people think it sucks, and I'm like, well, it doesn't suck. You can't say it sucks. I've read books that suck, where it's like the writing and the art don't harmonize, where the characters are bad, where you're using like a character death to inflate sales. Like, that sucks. That objectively sucks. This doesn't suck.
Okay.
But it is frustrating. And I think I've said that about every Batman book since Snyder was on it, which is really frustrating because, like, looking back at like the Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo run, I'm like, this is a good run. Like, I was harsh on that run.
Okay, but can you? All right,
but only in comparison to like James Tynion the Fourth run, which wasn't good.
All right, well, don't you? Okay, so this is a topic for a totally different thing.
Yeah,
but like, don't you think that the further we get away from things, the more that we like crave those things again?
Absolutely,
because like of like nostalgia and
yeah, and I can imagine
of, like, our lives that we were in it, that like when we were.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine, but like I don't associate the Capullo Snyder run with like better times in my life. You know what I mean? I don't think about like when I was a kid. I can imagine
because you read it before you've read. Like with
certainly,
comics, you're always going to read the thing you're reading right now before you read the next person's thing. And so,
no, I think if the Snyder Capullo run came now, it would be like, oh my god, thank you.
Okay.
Like, it would be a respite.
Okay.
And that's not to say that like Scott Snyder is the definitive Batman writer, although maybe he's in the top 5, because I've read other Scott Snyder books since that run. Like Last Night on Earth is not great.
That's okay.
Like it was not a welcome change. It was just kind of like that thing. But it's just it's weird. I don't know. Maybe it's just like, I mean, I think we've talked about this before. The idea that like Batman the book is not for me. Like Batman is not a monthly book for me. Batman is a trade paperback. He's a self-contained graphic novel. He's no GN. Like, he's a story that is like, you read it and it's good and it's done. But like every time they reference Alfred, and they do it 4 times in this book, you're just like, that's enough. Like, I just want to scream from the heavens, like, that's enough of the Alfred being dead thing. Well, and I've had way more than enough of people teasing bringing him back.
Right.
Like, Batman begs an Alfred of another reality, like, come with me and be my Alfred in this reality. And it's like, that is a solution, but it's not the solution. It's not even a good solution.
Does it work?
No. He's like, no. No, he's like, that would be stupid. He doesn't go. John Kent runs into him in the Injustice universe, and it's like, oh, Tom Taylor could bring that Alfred into this reality. Like, that's and I can imagine an editor like just splooging themselves over that concept, because then you got a Batman who's like, I don't trust Superman because he might take over everything, and I have to be careful of all the Robins because like they died on my watch. Like that, a kind of like post-traumatic stress Alfred. Like that's a juicy Alfred. That's supposed to just being like a droll archetype that represents Batman's childhood. Like nobody wants that. Nobody wants like set dressing in character form. Nobody wants pillars of your character universe, apparently. And when I say nobody, I only mean people who are in charge of these books. But anyway, Batman 136, it's fine. Like, it's fine. It looks good enough, kind of. It doesn't look great, but it looks fine. Like, it's not blowing the doors off, but like, it's fine. And
Are
that's
you
the thing.
Fine?
I'm not. I mean, clearly I'm not. But like, it's just kind of like, it's frustrating because like, and I'm like hyper aware of the talent of these people and how good they are at what they do and like what they're executing and how what's against them and how much like magic is involved with making a book happen in the first place. Like, I get it, but like, and I'm not broken or sad because like there are books that I'm like, that's a great book,
right,
and it's not like, and that book came out 5 years ago, like, and it's not like, oh, that book came out 20 years ago now.
Yeah.
I'm not like delusional. I'm not like, oh man, it'll be great if they put J.M. DeMatteis on Amazing Spider-Man, like but that would be great, but like not in the but not for everybody. I'm like, that's not, if you put me in charge of Spider-Man and I that would not be the decision I made.
Right.
I'd be like, J.M. DeMatteis just backups in the Spider-Man book. Like, he does like little stories that are like one trade, 5 pages per book, and then you make trades out of them. That keeps Mark, employed, and also tells these fun and robust stories. But like the action isn't here. We sell the book
Right.
with like a name and an initiative that is exciting and relevant and contemporary. I'm not out of touch.
Okay. Listen, that's great.
Batman is another similar situation. I'm just like, but I love Zdarsky and I love what he does and I know he gets it. And I don't know if it's just like, maybe I'm just not jiving with the concept, the whole concept of Batman as a monthly book or a bi-monthly book. I don't know how often this book comes out. Feels like forever.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I didn't mean to go on so long. But,
no, that's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. But like, and Batman it's just like, I don't know. You know what it is? I'm just, and we talked about this before, but like, I'm ready for Batman to just get back to it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just so tired of like the Penguin's daughters or something, or children or something. There's a brother sister twin combo that were introduced in this book, and I'm like, I don't want to read about the Penguin's children. I don't want to read about dead Alfred. I don't want to read about these. I don't want to see a manor choked with people, in a kitchen that's way too small for it being in Wayne Manor.
That's never going to go away.
I know.
The Bat family's here to stay. So those stories are over.
Those
stories
and
you have to treasure the ones that you have.
I do. But like, I think that there's room. I mean, how many Robins are in, what's that book? One Dark Night? Or the one from Jock?
Oh, yeah, none.
Yeah, exactly. You could still do them.
Yeah, it's true.
It's my point. But yeah, no, you're right, though. Like the holding on to the, but it's like they keep flirting with the idea, And that's what's so frustrating. Is like everyone keeps saying like, oh, comics are cyclical. They'll all get back to it. I'm like, when? You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, when?
They're cyclical, I think, to some degree, but not in
every way, and
yeah,
certainly, and they never line up.
No,
it's not like, okay, well, finally, Pete and Mary Jane are together, and Alfred's alive, and you know what I mean? Like the X-Men are in the manor, and there's an Avengers mansion over here. It's never going to align.
Well, because over time, like the people who are in charge won't know those stories anymore.
Right. Well, clearly they don't. That much is very
they
evident.
don't care.
It's more like, well, yeah, well, and you're seeing people like David Pepose and Josh Williamson who are like, I read these books. I remember these things. I want to see what I like and I remember.
Right.
You just hope they're talented enough to also be able to back it up, which they are. I just named two people who are good at what they do. And also do the nostalgia writing.
Absolutely.
But not all the time. They're not one-trick ponies.
No.
But anyway, let's talk about some books that are coming out this week that we think you should check out.
Do it.
After the full of integrity and absolutely morally unquestionable book of Amazing Spider-Man 26, I'm sure everyone is lining up to read The Adventures of Spider-Man fighting Doc Ock. Oh boy, Spider-Man and Felicia fighting Doc Ock. No, we're just getting back to normal. Not picking this up.
Cover.
It's a terrible cover. It's an ugly ass cover.
Well, I mean, it's effective because
yeah, you want to be like, ugh. But also they're bringing back Superior Spider-Man, so it's like, well, what do I want to give a shit for? And how dare you like presuppose that this is going to be like a fun superhero romp after what you just did? They're just like, just forget about it. Who cares? They're not even real, And it's like, I know they're not real, but what you did was gross. Anyway, so don't pick up that. But Green Lantern #2. I read the first one. I liked that one. Wait, did I? I read Green Arrow. Who written this one? Phil Kenny Johnson? Never mind. I like him as a person. You can tell we don't do a lot of prep for these books.
This part of the show is really off the cuff, and we're just trying things.
Yeah,
whatever, we just say whatever we see.
Well, that's
what do I see?
I calls them like I sees them. You know what I mean?
Boy.
There's a lot of books in here. I'm like, oh no, don't buy that book. Oh no, that one. Woof. Yeah.
Well, is it?
I don't recommend anything today.
At some point.
Yeah.
What? Moon Knight #24 will be coming out this week. Wolverine #34. X-Men Red #12.
Yep.
I'm excited for that one.
Oh yeah,
for sure. Oh man. Oh.
What?
Sorry. Okay. Wait a minute, because we've got freaking There's a lot happening here. My brain. Didn't we just have the? Oh my God! Wait. With the 100 Warriors, remember, like from Ten of Swords?
Yes.
In one of the other, I think
X-Men
it was
books?
one of the X-Men books. At the end, it was promised that Pog is coming.
Yes, I heard that.
And I'm like, wait, that's all. Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Hi. My brain. This is why I needed the nap, everybody.
That's right.
Okay, this is why I needed the nap. Big reveals like that you all already figured out. Rogue and Gambit number 4. This is a book I wish I liked more than I do.
Yeah.
But I think I need to see it through to the end.
Oh yeah.
Because I
There's
just
only 6 issues of this.
well, also because it's like this is really contingent on where the story.
What are they
going
to do
like,
with these
this journey
characters?
is definitely.
Well, what about him?
Oh yeah, Doctor Strange number 4. Listen, I'm just bebopping all over. This is my X-Men section.
All right, fair
There's
enough.
all the
I
X
see.
books.
I see. All right, I see what you're doing.
Doctor Strange number 4 is coming out as well, who has something to do with them.
No,
essentially,
thank God.
or not. I don't know. Maybe.
Right?
Who knows? There's another one of those coming out.
Apparently. Sure. Why not?
I kind of fell off of the Nightmare Country Sandman Universe book, but I want to let those of you who care about that know that that's coming out too.
Mhm.
Again, we have Waller versus the Wildstorm.
Yeah, we have that book, and I still haven't read the first issue. Damn it!
Just sitting on my desk.
Yeah, it is.
Because we are the worst, I guess.
Clearly.
We're just not very good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Ooh.
Oh
My.
That's Something's Killing the Children. Something's Killing the Children, Pen and Ink number 1.
Oh.
A deluxe art-focused format featuring stunning black and white interior inks with artist commentary.
Oh, can I get that?
Yeah, we'll get it. I'll put it on my
can
list.
You get that? Not like, can I get that? But
No,
like,
you
can
don't
you get that in physical?
Yeah, no, she means like, can you go get it?
Yeah, can you go?
Not can I have it?
No, I mean literally, can you go? Please go get that.
That's who goes and gets them.
Yeah, you're the
It's me.
person who gets the books. I can't go get the books because I'm working.
I'll put it on my get list.
Thank you. I'm sure there's plenty of other things coming out, but this seems like a heavier week for me anyway. So who knows what else I'll read before we do our next exciting episode
Of Off the Rack.
It's
true. This is a
for me. It is for you. Like there's like nothing.
I know. I promise that I will talk about stuff.
Please do, because otherwise it's just gonna be me talking.
Well, that's always fun.
And nobody wants that.
Yes, they do. Especially if they listen to Dynamic Duos from CBR. It's a podcast that was initially created to see the top talent of the industry chatting with each other, and but then Tiffany was brought in to kind of shepherd the line.
I do a little intro thingy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I wanted to see who was doing this. I just was curious.
That's right.
Cool.
Huh.
Yeah, I didn't get into that.
No.
Someone asked me about that, but I probably should because it looks like Constantine's there. Constantine.
Oh, good. I believe there's a couple other super chats.
Let's do those.
Let's
Don't
see
leave yet. We're gonna super chat with you.
Mm-hmm. Girk Peck does. I know everyone hates / is tired of pirates. They are. I always wanted a Star Wars game about space pirates. I think they were fun in Clone Wars, but be goofy or dark. Yeah, I mean, wouldn't that be great? Yeah, boy, Chips Ahoy just got here. Catch the rest of the replay. Punisher was dope. Bless the war. Bless the beast. Agreed. I loved it. That's right. Yeah, Punisher ended, and I loved it. It zigged where I wouldn't have zagged. Where I would have zagged, but overall, it was good. I really liked it.
Awesome.
I saw someone who was a former editor at Marvel who was like pooping his pants on Twitter. He's like, "Oh, goodbye, Punisher. I'm so sorry they ruined you." And I'm like, "Shut up. You're supposed to be an adult. Grow up, buddy." Spoon Lol 2 says, "Finally got the chance to catch you guys live. Woo! It's a real shame that both Marvel and DC are stumbling with their most popular characters."
Excuse me, they wrote Woot.
Oh, I'm sorry, Woot. Yeah, Woot. But I will say, apropos of that, I don't know what I think it's just that these people who are here are like younger, and either they don't have the same experience, or they are like too precious with them, or they're not precious enough. There's too many extremes. They're like either worried that it's going to break, or they're like not worried enough that what they're doing is damaging. They're just kind of like, either way, they're uncareful.
Right.
And curative writer Tay-Tiff, thoughts on Spirit World as the magic girl?
If you're talking about the DC book Spirit World, I saw the first issue came out. I didn't get a chance to pick it up. I do see there's a second issue coming out, and if I get a chance this week, maybe I will. This again, I've got a lot of books this week.
Yeah,
for some reason.
You sure do.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I will try.
Yeah. And Peach, will you be checking out Spider-Man India? Probably not. I'm taking kind of a sabbatical on Spider-Man books lately, and I don't really care. Like, not no offense, I just don't. I don't like superfluous Spider-Man characters. Like, I'm not reading Spider-Gwen either. I don't read any of those characters. I don't read Miles. I like Miles, but I don't read his books. I'm just kind of like, all right, I'm here
You're
for
a
Pete.
Peter Parker character.
Yeah, I'm here for Pete. Yeah, exactly. If there was, my favorite book of all time must be like Peter Parker or Spider-Man, where it's all about him. I would read that. Yeah, that I'm here for Pete. I'm not here for like the costume with another character inside. But yeah, we want to thank you so much for hanging out with us. We're really lucky to
Yeah.
have you. Thank you so much for Super Chatters for sponsoring today's show. If you want to help us out more, you can go to patreon.com/compop or just subscribe and like the video and comment below. Say something fun. And
Say something fun.
say something fun, you know? And don't write that.
You
It's
don't
obvious.
write say something fun.
Yeah. Man, I did this joke on TikTok, and the amount of people who said the same joke, I was just like, wow, that's the only thing you can say, huh?
I'll just look at that.
I was blown away because I said this thing. Okay, so like, everybody is talking about the Spider-Man 26 issue and
Okay.
what happened, and everybody's weighing in on it. Everybody's making bank on it. And we didn't do that. Not like out of any moral, obligation. We just didn't. Nobody had time, and we couldn't sit and shoot it. So like,
Maybe we could have.
when?
I don't know. Just tell me. I'd be there.
Yeah, and well, we'll have to do that because I would like to talk about it, but we
Yeah.
didn't have a chance to.
I've been waiting.
Okay. well, I didn't know that. I guess I'll just have to tap you then for it. Hello. Okay, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we didn't do it, and but everybody else is doing it, and they were all talking about it. They were all saying the same crap. It was all the same goddamn stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like blah, 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 and it just all turned into noise because they're all saying the same exact thing. 20,000 views, 200,000 views, blah blah blah. And it's just like, so I made this joke on TikTok where I was like, here's my thoughts on it. I just spoke backwards. I just said a bunch of nonsense. And the amount of people who said like, I think I'm having a stroke. I was like, that's
Well, you just comment. You don't like search through the comments. You're just rating.
that's true. Yeah, it's
Like
funny.
I'm not looking. I'm like, oh, who else? Oh, there's somebody already said it. I'm not gonna say it.
I mean, why not though?
They're just engaging.
I guess
Just
that's
take it
true.
as something nice.
I guess that is nice. Yeah. It is. Look, the reality is, it is engagement. There's nothing wrong with that.
Take that. Just take it.
But all right. But yeah, maybe I will have something more to say about it besides nonsense, besides some gobbledygook. Okay, I'll have to think about it. I haven't really thought about it. I just like we'll sit down and shoot
all
the
of a
show.
sudden now it's different. Now it's a different reason why we haven't done it. Oh, okay.
No, I mean no. I've been planning on doing it. It's just that I haven't done any preparation for it.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
yeah, that's true.
Let's
Well-
go.
So long, everybody. See you next week.
Bye.